quite something, isn't it?
It is. It's a big, it's a big fancy setup.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm just gonna make sure everyone online is muted.
So Jane didn't sign up, huh?
No. No, she did not. Okey-dokey. And this. And then we're gonna go to the gallery. Okay.
Her daughter came to visit and got COVID.
Oh man. Florida.
Yep.
Okay. All right, everyone. So good morning. Welcome to March. Yay. Yeah. So I was telling Mike, March makes me think of rainy track practice. Outdoors, running in circles in the rain. And I was a high jumper, so I was always landing in a pile of wet. So I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of March.
It's good skiing.
That's what they say. Yeah, we'll see. So, okay. For those of you in front of me, any requests for today? Areas of special need? SOAS. The SOAS. Okay. All right. So if you're not familiar, the psoas muscle, sometimes we call it the hip flexor. It's a big muscle. It's an important muscle. It attaches under all the belly organs. So it attaches to the top of the quadriceps, and then it goes under all of our lower abdominal muscles or organs, and it connects at the back to each of the vertebrae up the spine. So it's not one of the front abdominal muscles, it's one of the underneath muscles, and that's what helps us to sort of flex and bring the knee up. So when we're seated for hours on end, as we are a lot these days, and we have been for months, this gets really short, and it gets lazy. So when we start to ask it to do things like, let's go for a hike, that might involve a hill, it's mad, it gets angry. It doesn't do that anymore, right? So it's troublesome. So the other thing that we do with the psoas muscle is we tend to engage it when we're working our core, and we use that instead. And we pull the knee in using this little muscle here, and then it gets angry and it gets tight and it says, yeah, take that. I'm going to stay like this. Okay? And so then you have to try to stretch it out, and it's just a whole process. So there are lots of things we can do to help lengthen out that psoas muscle. One of my favorites, if you have a block today, we can use that. I have two, if someone would like to borrow one. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
We only need one?
Yes, just for that particular exercise that I'm going to show you.
If you have another one like that.
I have an extra.
Do you have an extra you want to share?
Is that extra or no?
This is mine.
Oh, okay,
If I
sure.
don't use this, we won't have
That's
any.
okay, no worries.
You want them?
I'm happy to share. Thank you. You're not gonna use?
No, I've got one here.
Okay.
So my friends at home, if you don't have a block, it works here too. If you don't have a block, you can always fold up your blanket or your mat and use that underneath the back of your pelvis. So let's start seated either cross legs or in hero's pose with your shins underneath you. And I always recommend you try to sit up a little with your pelvis, so that can tip you forward a bit. So if a blanket isn't available to you, a cushion or a pillow, or you could sit on a block. And if you're already struggling with your psoas, you could take this block on medium, and you want to sit your two sitting bones side by side, so don't turn it narrow. And you can sit on that. And that will allow, you can see it sort of opened up already, my pelvis, so that I've got sort of an obtuse angle. I know, it's hard to see when we're stacked behind the camera, behind the person who's behind the camera.
Move over there
Perfect, go right ahead.
so I can see you.
Yeah, I know, it's hard to see. Yeah. So you decide how you want to sit this morning. And once you settle in, broaden your shoulders. Take some deep breaths. when you find your mind is tugging at the edges, pulling you into things you need to do later today, to things you were engaged with before you arrived here, acknowledge that. Those are important things. But pull your mind back here. Bring your mind into the center of you, because you are also important. Call to mind this morning gratitude. Pick something you are grateful for today. Now choose 2 words, one for your silent inhale and one for your silent exhale. And the next time you exhale, allow your chin to fall downward toward your chest. Allow length to grow in the back of your neck. Inhaling, gently roll left ear to left shoulder. Pause here. Notice that you don't collapse your shoulders forward. Allow the face to point forward with your eyelids closed, and notice if any other part of your body changed shape, and try to snuggle it back in tight. Exhaling, lower your chin again toward your chest. Inhaling to the other side. Inhale again, the chin comes forward, and now follow your breath, inhaling to each side and exhaling to the center. We're not going to roll around the back. We're just going to stay to the front. See if you can drag out these movements nice and slow, like you're moving through molasses. And when you're even on both sides, allow your chin to drop again, your fingertips to come out to the side. And as you inhale, lift your hands and face upward, tap your fingers together at the top. Open wide, flip your palms down and lower your fingertips and your chin. We're going to try to meet at the top at the same time our gaze meets at the top. And we're going to try to meet the chin at the chest at the same time our fingertips meet the floor. And the next time you come down, allow your left hand to stay. Lift just your right arm as you inhale. Tip over to the left. Allow your hand to drop, your shoulder and elbow to drop. Reach across with your arm. And then put some effort into that hand that's reaching across. Imagine you needed to take a hold of a doorknob and you needed to turn that doorknob so that you could actually open the door. Okay, so don't just let your arm hang out there. Put some purpose into it. Inhale, rise back up. Windmill over to the other side. Left arm rises, tips you over to the left. Drop your shoulder, drop your elbow. Press the floor with your hand and sort of push your ribs away toward the left side. Rotate your gaze down at your elbow or wrist. Again, put some power into that hand on top. Let's float back and forth. Inhale as you rise and exhale as you slide sideways. Inhale as you rise. Follow the rhythm of your breath, which very well may not be the same as mine. When you feel even, finishing up on your right side, come back to the middle and bring your legs straight out in the front. If you're seated on a block, you might want to take the block out. If it feels like straight legs makes you curve and round your back, then you'll want to fold your blanket under your sitting bones to lift your hips up. If you can sit in a nice strong right angle, go for it. If you feel like you're working too hard and you're too fatigued, or if your back was already hurting when you came in, you might want to assist with the hips up higher. So let's flex the ankles, toes toward the sky, make some space between your feet, tighten up your thighs. Bring your hands out to the side, bend your elbows. All right, we're going to do a little exercise for our hands and our forearms. So as you inhale, we're going to separate the fingers really, really wide. Exhale, touch your thumb and index finger together. Inhale, open wide again. Touch your middle finger with your thumb. Inhale, open wide. Do the ring finger, touch, open wide. And the baby finger, touch, open wide. Go in reverse. Touch your pinky to your thumb. Open up. Ring finger. Open wide. We tend to get lazy on that opening, so open it really wide. Touch the middle. Open wide. Touch the index. What happened to your legs? Did you relax them? Now let's bring the thumbs into the shoulders. Inhale all the way out. Straight arms. Thumbs pull into the shoulders. Inhale all the way out. Bring your thumbs in and hold them here. Touch your elbows to each other in the front. Open your elbows wide. Pull them toward the back. Do that again. Elbows together in the front. Open wide toward the back. One more time. Your legs should be getting tired here. Open wide. Straighten your arms out. And relax. Shake everything out. Okay, so that is going to fire your hip flexors for many of us and make them really upset. So let's lean back into a forearm upside down plank. So if your shoulders don't like this, you can lay flat on your back. Okay? So my forearms are on the floor, my palms are on the floor, my legs are straight and they're awake, right? So what I mean by that is tighten your thighs, point your toes toward the ceiling, press your heels down. Don't press the backs of your knees down, that'll hurt. And then we're gonna lift the sternum up. And can you settle your head on the end of your spine as if you're standing up in mountain pose? Okay, so that usually means you're looking across to the place where the wall meets the ceiling, not looking at the ceiling. Now relax your legs and shake your feet side to side. That's going to loosen the hip flexor. All right, come to sit back up nice and tall. And we're going to cross the shins again, but the other shin in the front, if that's okay with you. Otherwise, take hero's pose again. We're going to take a twist now. Opposite shin in the front. Sit on your blanket or your block if you need that. Okay. So this twist is another exercise for the eyeballs. So let's bring the hitchhiking left thumb forward. And when you sit up, I want you to bring your navel in, your ribs buckled together, you're sitting nice and tall. Take your eyes and focus on your thumbnail. And as you exhale, twist to the left, following your thumbnail as you turn to the side. Bring your right hand across to your opposite knee. Follow your thumbnail until your eyeballs can no longer focus on that thumbnail. And then you'll stay over there. Inhale, come back to the center. All the way forward, follow your thumb. Pull your thumb into the tip of your nose. Push your thumb forward again. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the left. All the way around on your exhale. Inhale to the center again. Thumb comes forward. Exhale, thumb to your nose. Inhale, thumb forward and up over your head. Turning to the side again. Take this arm up and around the back. Drop your fingertips to the floor behind you. Settle your right hand perhaps to your opposite left knee and sit tall. Now notice what is holding you here. Are your hip flexors holding you here? Can you drop your knees and relax? Pull in instead on the navel, lift up out of the spine as you look over your left shoulder. Now keep your body where it is. Turn just your head over your other right shoulder. So you're looking forward and maybe turning your head and maybe just your eyes to the other side. As you inhale, unwind. Forward fold. Breathe here. 2 full breaths into your low back. Lift from your head. Walk your hands in close. We're going to take the second side. So your right thumb comes forward. Focus your eyes on your thumbnail, and as you exhale, twist to your right. Your left hand will cross your lap to your other knee. Breathe here. Notice if turning so much made you lean sideways, and if it did, stop it. Sit up straight. Okay, as you inhale, return to the front. Exhale your thumb to your nose. Follow it with your eyes. Push it out as you inhale, straight forward. Twist again, exhale, rotating, twist to your right. Your hand will cross your lap to your opposite knee. Inhale, return to the center, forward. Thumb out the front. Exhale, thumb to your nose. Follow it with your eyes. Inhale, press it forward and reach it up in the air. Twisting to the right again. Reach all the way around. Drop your fingers behind you. Your left hand will cross your lap. So your right fingers are on the floor. Let it fall all the way down. And realize what's engaging here. If your hip flexors are really fired up, drop your tailbone. Inhale back to the center and forward fold again. Oh, thanks, Tara. We forgot the head. We'll do that on the next activity. Breathe into that low back. Inhale, lift from your head, engage your core, walk your hands in as you sit up. Straighten out your legs in front, lean back onto your hands, fingers point to the side, shake your feet. we're changing this up. Pause in the middle. Bring your feet together and your knees together. Engage your core to your spine. Lift onto your tiptoes. Good. We're going to do that same side to side, and you're going to actually roll toward your hip bone. If this doesn't feel safe on your low back, go back to the one we did before. Okay. Try to keep your knees squeezing together. Do you get a cramp? Pull your toes in.
Yeah.
Sometimes the knees want to fall away from each other, so don't let that happen. If you'd like more core strength, lift your feet away from the floor. Squeeze those knees together. And we're going to try to lessen the weight on our hands and lessen the weight on our feet. Okay. You feel that core working? All right, come back to the middle and bring your feet into butterfly shape. If you'd like to sit up again, go ahead and lift your sitting bones. Press the soles of the feet into each other. And press the knuckle that's outside the baby toe. Press those into the floor. When you lean forward, especially push down on the baby toe side of the foot. And allow the weight of your torso to fall. Instead of pulling with your arms. Inhale, rise up from your head. Shake your legs out the front and turn around for tabletop on hands and knees. Take whatever extra padding you need, and I recommend now is your chance to take off your socks. And maybe your sweaters. Okay, so hands and knees, tabletop. If you need support under your knees or wrists, go ahead. Get yourself protected. We'll start with a long cat stretch. So pull your navel to your spine. Press the underside of each finger knuckle into the floor. Pull your tailbone toward your forehead and your chin toward your chest. Breathe in and out in this place. As you inhale, slide into neutral tabletop. Notice the belly. We don't want to let it fall to the ground. We really want to pull up toward the spine. Now we'll take an extended cow belly stretch. Lift up the tailbone a little bit. Pull your shoulder blades toward your waist as you lift your heart a little bit. Notice if the weight in your hands wants to shift into the heels. Don't let that happen. Keep pressing the underside of each finger. Keep pulling the lower abdominals toward the spine. Now flow back and forth on the rhythm of your own breath. And you decide today which one of these two shapes will be your inhale. Sometimes it feels really good to breathe into the heart as you lift forward. And sometimes it feels really good to breathe into your back as you lift your spine up. When you feel even, come into neutral tabletop, but come onto your fingertips. Then shift your hips side to side. Now let's walk the hands out in front of yourself so they're forward. From here, slide your shoulders forward over your wrists. Drop your hips toward the floor and lift your heart up and shoulders back. So you might need to adjust here. I reached too far forward, so I'm going to drag my hands a little closer in. So this is not cobra, this is not upward dog, this is a hip flexor stretch. While you're here, please pull your belly up toward your spine. Even as you're dragging your pubic bone up toward your rib cage. Can you pull your shoulders toward each other anymore? Now let's drag the navel up and slide back into, let's tuck the toes and take a lightning bolt seat. So tuck your toes under, spread out all your toes. Sit back as you push back onto your feet. Dropping your head and shoulders down. Inhale, rise, tabletop. Downward dog as you exhale. Lift your hips from the navel and press back and hold. Remembering in your downward dog all those finer points. So it's so nice if this is your first downward dog today. I know how yummy it feels to just wiggle around. So find out what's happening in your body as you wiggle around. Feel the feet. Maybe you notice, hey, if I widen my feet a little bit, I feel better in my hips or my back. Maybe if I bend my knees a little bit or move my hands a little further away from me, it feels better. If your hands feel like they're sliding out from under you, press into the fingers and squeeze your thumbs and index fingers toward each other a little bit more. As you exhale, tabletop again. Take a breath in while you're here and settle into child's pose as you exhale. So we're going to take this into a little bit of a flow. As you inhale, rise to tabletop. That'll always be your inhale. Tuck your toes, downward dog as you exhale. Pull from the navel as you press your hands. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, table. Exhale, downward dog. So if you would like to change this into a half sun salutation and you'd rather add in some push-ups and coming down through your dropping to the floor and taking a cobra, you can add that in. Again, remember this is your lesson. It is your private lesson on your own rectangle. I'm here to be your guide, but you are also your teacher. So listen to what your body says. The next time you find yourself in tabletop, pause where you are. Extend your right leg out the back, toes on the floor. Extend your opposite fingers out the front on the floor. Inhale, lift both pieces up. Exhale, lower back down and tap. Inhale, pulse up. Exhale, tap down. Good. Feel free to use just the leg or just the arm. You don't have to use both. One more. Now we're going to lift and hold. What happened to the belly? Pull it up away from the floor. Squeeze your tush. Reach forward with your hand. Reach back with your foot. And release. Second side. Straighten your left leg, toes on the floor. Opposite fingertips forward on the floor. On the floor, on the floor. As you inhale, lift up. Exhale, tap down. Notice if your back wants to arch so that you drop your navel to the floor when you lift. Don't let that happen. One more time. Inhaling up, exhaling down, and then we'll lift and hold. Reach your fingers forward. Reach your heel backward. Press the underside of each finger into the floor. Return through the center. Try the second side. Take your hands off the side of your mat so that your shoulders are over your wrists, and you pull your left shoulder toward your left hip. Good, back to center. Tuck your toes one more time, downward dog if that feels good to you, otherwise child's pose. Then we're gonna take the right foot forward for a low lunge. Drop your left knee, untuck your toes, and come up into a lunge with your right foot in front. Good. So a low hip flexor stretch. Notice the difference between 90-degree angles in your body. Nice and tight here. Careful the back foot doesn't cross over. Then take your front foot and walk it forward. From there, slide forward with your hips. So we're going to keep the knee over the ankle. Keep this zippered up in the front. Okay? Don't let the body slide into that with you. Keep the tailbone pressing. Left arm lifts up. Right hand, thumb comes into your hip crease. Breath in, reach tall. Breath out, hitchhiker thumb out the front. So make a fist, but point your thumb up. Keep your thumb and arm where it is. Twist to the right with your shoulders and your head. Give a little extra tug back on that right hip so you remind yourself not to slide into it. Inhale back to center, and then we'll bring both hands together at the heart. If your back is feeling safe, we're going to take a prayer twist. So your opposite left elbow, you're going to twist to your right, and your elbow will come to the top of your knee, perhaps, or maybe to the outside of your knee. Push down into your feet. Pull in on the belly. Drop your tailbone down the back of your left thigh. Inhale, return to center. Take both arms up high. Exhale, change your feet, bringing your other foot in the front. All right, so again, notice we are on two side-by-side tracks. We're not stacking onto one balance beam. Good. From here, walk your foot forward and slide your hips forward. Really strong. Push that tailbone and then zipper. Buckle it in. Think of those high-waisted pants. Good Lord, they're coming back into style. All right, so I've seen so many teenage girls wearing those old mom jeans that I just want to say, oh, honey. Please go put those back to the thrift store. Okay, so take your left hand, hook it in on here on your hip. Right arm goes up to the sky. Good. Nice. Let's make a thumb forward. Deep breath in. Breathing out, twist your shoulders left. Drop that left shoulder down. Good. Keep your thumb there to tug it back, right? Sometimes we let the knee slide to the middle and we let the hip hike forward. So, inhale, return to center. Exhale, hands in prayer at your heart. Deep breath in here. Exhale, twist to the left again and bring the tip of your elbow perhaps to the top of your knee. Or slide all the way out. So the tricep comes across the top of the knee as you twist deeper. Yes. Very nice twisting, everyone. Inhale as you unwind and reach both arms to the ceiling. Exhale, tuck your back toes under, both toes under, so step back and find downward dog. Pull your hips up and press back. Downward dog. Yeah. Downward dog is always an option. Feel free to find child's pose or belly flop. Lying on your belly feels really nice if your hip flexors are still tight and talkative. Yeah. In your downward dog, are you dragging with traction your hands toward each other? Pull them in. Imagine you have a nice beach ball between your elbow creases and you're trying to squeeze it because it's a windy day. Lift your heels up high. Bend your knees deep. Walk your hands back to your feet. Find your heels dropping and land in forward fold at the back of your mat. Let your head hang. Turn your head side to side. Nod your head up and down. Place your hands on your shins or your kneecaps. Lift halfway up. Find elongated spine. Heart forward. Yes. Exhale, drop down again. One more half lift on your inhale. Keep that belly away from the floor. Lift it up. Exhale, drop down. Bend your knees. Lift from your head. Arms reach out to the side. Stand all the way up. Palms touch at the top and come down to your heart. Deep breath in and out here. As you exhale, release your arms. Step your feet a little wider apart and come into willows, floating side to side. All right. Don't forget to allow the heel of the foot that's behind you to lift away from the floor. We want to save the knees. Coming back to the center. Find yourself right foot forward, warrior one. And for this next sequence, if you are on a really thick mat, it might make you feel very wobbly. So take care. You want to step up onto the floor. Feels fine. Okay. Hips are forward in warrior one, right? Hips are forward. And you might want to widen your feet onto 2 tracks, parallel tracks. Angle the back foot toward the front as you bend your knees. So instead of taking your foot way out to the side, why don't you just push that heel back and turn your hips toward the front? Yeah, bend into that front knee. Good, okay. Arms will go up, both of them, warrior one. Press into the outside edge of your back foot. Anchor down, seal that back foot to the floor. Good. Can you push your tailbone more forward? Can you bend into your knee anymore? Yeah. Can you zipper up your lower belly and buckle your ribs together? Excellent. Let's widen out into warrior two. Turning to the left. This time, pick up your feet and move them so that you are, in fact, standing on one track. Bend into your right knee very deep, turning to your right all the way open. Okay. Shoulders are wide apart. Palms face the floor, gaze over your right middle finger. So have a look behind you. Turn your head, look at your other arm, your left arm that's out back. Notice if it is straight out from your shoulder or if it's sticking out behind at a crooked angle. Okay. Let's take a reverse warrior. Lean to the back as you lift your front arm up. Keep your knee bent. Yeah. Warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Inhale. Exhale into triangle. Reach out the front. Lower your front arm as you lift your back arm, but keep your shoulders stacked. Again, notice if your upper arm is trying too hard. Sometimes we bend at the shoulder. We don't want to bend at the shoulder. We want to hinge at the hip crease of the front leg. And the rest of us is doing the same thing it was doing when we were standing straight up and down. Please don't press on your leg with your hand. Use your core. Inhale, rise again. Warrior two, bend your knee. One breath, reverse warrior. Inhale. Side angle as you exhale. Your front arm comes out the front, and instead of taking elbow to thigh, let's reach the straight arm straight down, and your other arm straight up. Pull it on the belly, bend your knee, drop your hips. Really nice. Warrior two again. Straighten both legs. Parallel both feet, hands on the hips. Inhale, lift your heart as you squeeze your elbows. Exhale, forward fold. You choose, maybe only halfway. If you're going halfway, hands to the knees. Otherwise, hands to the blocks on the floor. Careful, please, not to hyperextend your knees. Add a soft little bend. Notice the weight on your feet on the floor is in the middle of your foot or the front of your foot. Please, not the heels. Inhale, lift halfway up. Bend your knees, lift all the way up, standing tall. Turn your right foot forward, lift your left heel. Step to the front in chair pose. Good, nice and strong. You decide. Sometimes chair feet are together, sometimes they're apart. Good. All right, inhale, rise. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway rise. Exhale, fold. All the way rise up, hands overhead to your heart, exhale. Warrior one, second side. Left foot in front. Remember, please not to stand on your own tail with warrior one, okay? We also settle the whole foot to the floor in warrior one. Okay. Different from crescent. We don't want to bend the low waist. We want to keep ourselves tall. So bend the knee, push your tailbone forward, arms rise. Good, very nice. Now, again with the arms, let's be purposeful. Yeah. Good, warrior two. This time we're going to rotate the shoulders toward the right side, adjust the feet so that now you are lined up, heel to arch with your feet. Arms are wide. Keep pulling the outside of this left knee to the long edge behind you. Good. Reverse warrior. Lean to the back as you lift your front arm up. Lean to the back. That's it. Keep that knee bent. Keep zippered up in your belly and your ribs buckled in together. Beautiful. Warrior two again. Let's straighten the front leg and come into triangle. Reach forward. Hinge at the hip crease, but don't adjust what happened in your arms. The right arm is going to reach up. Point it at the ceiling. Yeah, good. Palm is going to face, those of us who are here in the room, it's going to face the parking lot side of the room. Yeah, that's the other way, Marianne. There you go.
Me?
Nope, Marianne. All right, rise again and find warrior two. Bend your knee. One breath, reverse warrior. Lean to the back. Exhale into side angle with straight arms. Let your left fingers point down at the floor and reach up with your right fingers. Can you make resistance between your leg and whatever part of your arm is touching? Rise again, warrior two. Good. Straighten both legs, parallel both feet, hands on the hip creases. Inhale, lift your heart as you pull your elbows toward each other. Exhale, forward fold. Tipping out the front, and you choose hands to blocks or stop halfway with your hands on your knees. Maybe your hands come to the floor, that's fine. If they don't, of course, that's fine. Notice, please, the weight is on the center of the foot or the balls of the foot. And the knees are soft, they're not locked. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bend your knees, lift from your head as you open your arms wide. Reach skyward, palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Here's our balance challenge again. We're going into that chair pose. So rotate your left foot forward as you lift your right heel. Now we'll step into chair pose. Step. Good. Inhale, straight up. Swan dive into forward fold. Come on down. Halfway lifting. Exhale, fold. Lift all the way up, head first, arms open, reach skyward, hands to the heart. 2 breaths here. As you exhale, release your hands by your sides. Shake out your arms and legs. We're going to take a standing balance and then we'll come to the floor. For the standing balance, we're going to start standing on the right leg first. So if you want to get the wall, bring the wall by your right hand. Or bring a chair if you're at home, piece of furniture that's sturdy under your right hand. If you want to stand on the wood floor instead of your mat, of course, that's fine too. All right, so we're going to stand on the right foot. Spread those toes, ground down into them. Drop your tail. Lift up your other knee and hold on to it in the front. Okay. Breathe. Put some purpose into your lifted leg. So flex that ankle. Good. Now we're going to take the leg out to the side. Think triangle. Sitting bone swings forward. Okay. Notice if you're still standing straight up or if your hip moved out to the side in order to get you open. Good. Now we're going to drop this knee down and make a circle. Roll it around and back across the middle. Good. 2 more like that. Nice and slow. Keep both hip points facing forward. 1 more. Strong right leg. Don't let that hip slide in and out, in and out. Okay. Back to the center. Let go, kick forward. Step behind you. Drop your heel. Stretch the hip flexor here, the psoas muscle. So whatever foot you were just working, whatever knee you just had lifted, I want you to open up that psoas there. You're going to lean back a little. Everybody's going to find it in a different way. No matter what description I have, people can't figure it out. Some people got it right away. So step together and change feet. Okay, standing on your left foot. If you're using the wall, turn around, please. Okay, and I highly recommend the floor instead of a fat mat. When you're ready, drop your tail. Lift your knee. Activate your leg. So you're holding your knee at the front with your hand. The other hand can be on your hip or the wall or out in cactus. Good. Keep breathing. Now gently begin to open your knee. Pull your sitting bone on this side forward. Feel that knee thigh bone rotate to the back. Okay? Activate your foot. We're going to bring it back across the middle. Draw a circle. Good. Across the middle. 1 more of those. Use your hands so the hip flexor doesn't get too tight. And when you get to the front, hold here. Drop your tail. Kick your foot out. Step behind and drop your heel. Lift straight up out of that. Good. So really tailbone forward in this one. Really tailbone forward. Yeah. All right, step together. Okay, shake that out. You might choose willows. You might choose hip circles. We're quickly running out of time, so we're going to make our way. Have a sip of water on your way if you want to. We're going to end up on the floor in bridge pose with a block under us for supported bridge. If you don't have a block, you could roll up your blanket or your sweater or whatever you had with you, your mat even. All right, so your feet are parallel, your knees are bent. Go ahead and come down onto your back. Once you get settled, lift your hips and slide your block under your pelvis on its lowest or maybe the medium height, but not the high position. If right away that feels unsafe to your back, take it out. Okay? And we want the feet and the knees to be relaxed. So walk your feet away from you. Not wide, but away. Do you ever rest on that?
That's squishy.
So once you get here, we're going to slide one foot forward, allowing the heel to remain on the floor. If your back does not like that, pull your foot back in. Try your second leg. Drag the first leg in, and then slide your other leg out.
Is that the solar that we're feeling on this?
Yeah, it should be the psoas that you're feeling. So this should be coming on the front of your pelvis.
I really feel it in this position.
Yeah. Did you find it? Did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Some of you, if your back is nice and healthy in the lumbar spine, you might find that 2 legs out in front of you is perfectly acceptable. Also, please notice if the block is under your lower back, and if it is, put it back under your tailbone. Yeah. Yeah, try that and see how that feels. Does that feel bad when you straighten your leg out? Did you like it better the first time? Does that help? Okay.
Really open it up.
Yeah, for sure. How's this feel for you? Right, if you have not changed legs and you've only done one side, please do the other side. And otherwise, we're gonna have to wrap up this class. So gently bring both feet to the floor. Carefully lift your hips by pushing your feet down. Remove your block and gently lower your hips to the floor. Drag one knee to your shoulders, pull your other knee in also. Perhaps gently rocking or rotating your hips around. Make any final stretches or movements. Maybe you'd like happy baby. Take care in happy baby, you pull your tailbone into the mat like you need to plant a shoot into the ground. Okay. Happy baby tail wants to lift up. Don't let that happen. Push it down. You might take an inversion with your feet in the air. You might take figure 4, stretching your glutes, your hips. When you feel complete, allow yourself to release, collapsing onto the floor. Allow your breath to slow. Allow your ribs to expand. Focus your mind here. Call to mind those 2 words that you were working with. One for your silent inhale and one for your silent exhale. Begin to deepen your breath. Invite small movements into your fingers and your toes, your wrists and ankles. Gently bending your knees. Bring in your first knee and follow it with your second. Give yourself a squeeze. Big sigh out your mouth. Roll to your side. Support your head for a moment. Full deep breath in and out. Press down, bring yourself sideways up into a comfortable seat. Bring your palms together at your heart. Remind yourself of gratitude. Find something you would like to call out in your mind that you are grateful for this morning. Inhaling, lift your hands and face up to the sky and share that out into the world as you open your arms wide and return your hands to your heart. One more deep breath in together and a big sigh out your mouth. Namaste. Thank you everyone once again for coming out today, honoring your mind and body and spirit, and joining us here for this practice time together. Good to see all of you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you here again next week. Bye, Kathy. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes, Kim. Good to see you today. Take care.
Thanks, Jennifer. It was great.
Bye, Carol. Good to see you.